All right, y'all. Welcome back to the All Sports Pass Podcast West. I'm your host, Duke, and tonight, final week of the regular season. Huge week, especially some teams that have their season over by the end of this week. But we will see what happened last week. There's some pretty interesting names that happened, so let's take a look. I'm going to start off with Oliver Springs, as last week they beat Harriman 42-6. This was no surprise, as Oliver Springs was a more talented team. Of course, to end off the season at Caulfield, basically for the region title. For some reason, it's the region title after losing the Midway. I feel like the comeback is on for Oliver Springs. If they beat Caulfield, they'll have a shot at being the region champion. But if not, we're going to see Caulfield win it again. And honestly, I have Caulfield winning it. Caulfield's been too good this year, like last year. So I see Caulfield winning it again. This will not conclude Oliver Springs' season, as they got playoffs to cover. And of course, I'll be covering them as well for the playoffs. But we don't know how long they all last. So we'll see what happens to Oliver Springs. Coming up next, we got Alcoa. And I mean, no surprise, they beat Harder. Final score, 42-0. I mean, what else do you expect from Alcoa? They're going to win every time. Of course, come next week, or this week, though, where they got Anderson County at their place, so that will be covered on the North Channel. So stay tuned for the Alcoa day. But up next, we got South Doyle, and also, no surprise, they do end up losing to Anderson County. Obviously, a bit of a disappointment there. The next game's at Fulton. That will also be covered on the North Channel, so hopefully that won't be it for me covering South Doyle this year. They're probably going to make the playoffs. I have no idea about the 4A bracket, but that will be covered on the North Channel as we go on. Alcoa, I will definitely be covering them this season in the playoffs. In fact, I think they'll probably host a playoff game too. And yeah, but all of those 4A teams we covered, most of them is on the North Channel. Some of them is on the West. We got like Heritage, Alcoa, and South Doyle. So that's why I think the 4A playoffs on the West Channel will most likely be featuring Alcoa. So yeah. Coming up next, we have Bearden, and here's your latest news of last week's loss. We were tied at 7 in the fourth quarter, and Dobbs Bennett came away at the very end to win 34-7, and that's what happened on homecoming. And this probably may be the theme I hope I did not want to cover, because this is senior night at home versus Bradley Central. And as you know, I'm the host youth. I go to Bearden High School. I'm a senior. So this is technically my last ever football game with Bearden for a while. The reason I say that, I may end up being, working with Bearden football in the future. Probably after they win a state championship, as I don't know what they'll do. But this is a very major game, as this is my last ever high school football game as a student. And we have yet to win a game. So I'm going to say this right now. From what I feel like, beating Bradley Central will not only be our first win of the season, but it feels like a great Christmas present. That's all I got to say. If we do close out the senior's career with a win, that'll be a good ending. That'll be a good ending of the class of 2026. Especially when I'm a part of the class of 2026 as well. But needless to say, it is Bradley Central. The team's pretty good. They're not going to host a playoff game, because they got Oak Ridge and Maryville to deal with. And Oak Ridge and Maryville, we'll cover that. That will be the game of the week this week. For the region title, it has not happened in a while. Actually, it says 2023 when Bearden played Bradley. And cover Bearden Bradley this week, so pretty interesting. But I thought Bradley winning this game. Bearden finishing out 0-9, in my opinion. And of course, the last win for the class of 2026 would be the Dobbs Bennett game of last year. But hey, if we get it done, that'll be huge for us, especially closing out the season. So I'd say when the Week 11 recap comes out, it's going to be, a Bearden recap, Thank you, Bearden football, all that stuff. And maybe at some point I don't know, think about half it stuff in the future, but we'll see. Since I'll no longer be a student at Bearden after this year, so yeah, long story short, Bearden Bradley will be a pretty used name, but I thought Bradley winning it. As for Hardin Valley, though, they still have a shot to be in the postseason this year. I checked the playoff scenarios for Hardin Valley. Last week, they beat Cleveland. Pretty huge region win for Hardin Valley, by the way. They have not won 2 region games in a long time. 2020, I believe, they beat Jeffco and Mo West in the same season. Actually, they didn't play Mo West. They won 3 region games in 2019, beating Jeffco, Faraday, and Mo West. So it's the first time winning multiple region games since 2019, if you count the Mo West game as a win for the Hawks. But with that being said, now they play Ottawa at Ottawa this week. Not really a big game for Hardin Valley. But the playoff tiebreaker is Faraday playing Cleveland. We'll cover that soon. If Cleveland were to win, Hardin Valley would get in over Faraday due to the overall record. Hardin Valley has more wins than Faraday. Overall, region wins, Faraday has beaten Hardin Valley before, but we're doing overall records for this one. If Faraday were to win, they would be in the playoffs instead of Hardin Valley. Cleveland's already eliminated. So, but we've seen this play out before. We've seen Faraday play in a scenario where, well, honestly, I don't know. They were eliminated 2 years ago when they played Maryville and somehow beat them. That probably cost another team a playoff spot. But we're talking about Cleveland, Faraday, and Hardin Valley here. If Cleveland were to beat Faraday while eliminated, that'd be funny. Hitting Faraday out of the playoffs just for Hardin Valley to be in. That'd be pretty funny, especially for me as a Bearden fan. But I don't know about Hardin Valley being in the playoffs. But it'd be nice if Hardin Valley were to be in. It would be their first playoff appearance since 2018. It'd be huge for them. The seniors would not have to play their last game at Ottawa. They would instead have to travel somewhere in the Tri-Cities for the first time in a while. So we'll see what happens here. But I do have Hardin Valley beating Ottawa to get a non-losing record for the first time since also, I believe, 2018, the regular season, but maybe 2017. Who knows? Playoff-wise, probably 2017. We'll see what Hardin Valley can do. As for Faraday, we're going to get onto them next. They did not beat Oak Ridge on TV. Oak Ridge won by a blowout. Honestly, no surprise. Oak Ridge is one of those teams where, they're pretty good in any level. 5A is just one level, but 6A is another, because you're facing off against teams that have over 90 kids, except Bearden. But those teams can beat teams from smaller areas, 3A, 2A, 1A, all that stuff. Oak Ridge just defies all odds and just beats everyone, except probably Oakland and Maryville. But we'll get to them later on. Now, I've talked about this playoff tiebreaker, Faraday Cleveland. Faraday to travel to Cleveland this week. This is basically an early playoff game for Faraday, okay? If they win, they're in. If they lose, they're outed by Hardin Valley. Not Cleveland, Hardin Valley. Due to overall record. And that'd be huge. That'd be very huge for Hardin Valley. But Faraday, they want to make the playoffs, so. Region wins for Cleveland. They've only got one, and it's Bearden. It's actually the only win this season. For Faraday, Bearden, and Hardin Valley. They're asking, why doesn't Faraday get in over Hardin Valley? Because Faraday beat them overall. It's based off overall record, not overall game they played. TSSAA is pretty weird on that, but it makes sense, though. They didn't hard. Faraday played a harder schedule. For Hardin Valley, their wins are this Carnes, Moe's, to Bearden, Cleveland. The worst team they played was Bearden, who has no wins so far. And they won 24-7. I think their biggest win is this Morristown East, who has one win on their belt, something like that. Their season just ended last week. I'm saying this right now, of course, huge game for Faraday. If they manage to beat Cleveland, something Bearden didn't do on the road, Faraday might have a shot to win for the playoffs. Just saying. But if they don't, we'll have to see a team like Hardin Valley that outed in the first round by Dobbs Bennett or Science Hill. It doesn't matter anyways, as Hardin Valley is done to play either Dobbs Bennett or Science Hill. Both those teams are huge teams for 6A Region 1. Hardin Valley is guaranteed to play one of those if they do make the playoffs. But I have Cleveland winning here, surprisingly. Cleveland has seen this before, playing as an East-to-Bite team at home, beat Bearden. And I honestly think they can do something that's fair did. They play with heart, they play with effort, they'll get it done. But it'll be pretty close. But I got Cleveland winning. And we're going to move on to the game of the week right here. 6A Region 2 Championship, Oak Ridge at Maryville. Both of these teams are dang near good. Good enough to beat Alcoa. Maryville probably doesn't. Maryville lost Alcoa. Oak Ridge might not beat Alcoa, but it might be a pretty close game here and there. Oak Ridge, undefeated. They've done really well this season at the 6A level. They've played teams. They've played Dobbs Bennett, won 33-7. It's pretty huge how that happened. They played some former 5A schools, beat them. And then in the 6A level, they went all out, beat Bearden, beat Faraday, beat Hardin Valley, beat Cleveland, beat Bradley. Beat Bradley is a huge one, because Bradley Central's third in the region, so huge win for Oak Ridge there. And now your biggest test is Maryville, who has won every single region game as well. The only loss being is Alcoa, who's currently on the road to a 4A Region 2 title. That's Anderson County, which will be covered on the North Channel. Maybe Game of the Week there. But Oak Ridge and Maryville 6A Region 2. So it's a whole new level of who's going to get it done. Huge Game of the Week. And I'd say Maryville might do it. Maryville might get it done. Maryville has the talent. They epped it closer to Alcoa. They've blown out good teams. They've done what they've usually done. They're Maryville. They win every single time. They're basically like Alcoa. And Oak Ridge, they've struggled against some teams. They struggled against Hardin Valley. They let Bearden do some stuff in the fourth quarter, but still won by a blowout. And I think that Bradley game was close. So, honestly, Oak Ridge might be the weaker team here. I think Maryville has more of a talent. Despite losing a couple guys to transfers and graduation. But I think Maryville will still get it done. Maryville will be the region champions. Oak Ridge will host the playoff game. That's already been decided. So, yeah. Up next, we'll talk about West. No surprise, they beat Harns 45-7. And we'll talk about Harns later on. Although I don't know if I'll have to be covering them. I have yet to check their schedule. But yeah, I'm not to be covering them for week 11. They got to travel to Knoxville Central, so that'll probably be it for Harns this season. But for West, another huge game that got outed by Oak Ridge and Maryville for Game of the Week. West hosting Powell. Now already decided Powell won the region title. When their win over Clinton. That'll be over on the North Channel. West just made the playoffs. After a terrible start to the season, they have shown that they are a playoff team. While this is not a region championship, which is why I decided Oak Ridge and Maryville will be Game of the Week, this is still a pretty huge name. It's a huge rivalry. It'll be on TV. And you know the deal with West and Powell. They're both teams that you'll have to watch out for in the playoffs. However, I think Powell has more of a talent. West has stuff going on in the offseason that affected them this season, especially over losing to Central, Maryville, Alcoa. Those are teams that you lose to, except Central's not usually a team you lose to, but Powell still owed them too. Powell still won, though, so that's why I think the Panthers will get it done. But West will still be able to play in the playoffs. They'll just have to travel. Up next, we got William Point. Did not cover them last week. They had travel to Knoxville Central. That will be on the North Channel. But looks like an easy day for them to close out the season, though they'll most likely miss the playoffs. After a good start to the season they had, this is a fall-off, collapse. Sad for William Blunt, but at least they got to end with a bad opponent to play. It's Campbell County. I don't know if Campbell County's even won a game this season. They haven't shown me anything that they are a team that can win games. So I got William Blunt winning here despite the tough travel. Systemically, this is from Blunt County to Campbell County. That feels like Knox County to McMinn County. So I got William Blunt winning despite the travel. And lastly, we're going to talk about Heritage. I don't think they're in the playoffs. I think they were eliminated. As I know, South Doyle, Gibbs, Alcoa, and Anderson County are 4 teams that are probably going to get in. Alcoa, Anderson County, Gibbs have already clinched. Don't know about South Doyle, though. They have to deal with Harder and all that stuff. But Heritage, at least they get closed out the season with an easy game at Union County. Now, I'd say that this would be a tough game for Heritage, but Union County, I have not seen anything from them. I'll have to check and see what their record is. Oh, about Campbell County, yeah, I was right. They have not won a game this season. They didn't even beat Sweetwater, which is a small 3A team that I've been to, by the way. Yeah, I've been to a lot of schools, especially those small schools like Harriman. I've been to Sunbright, too. But enough about the schools I've been to. And Campbell County losing to Sweetwater. I'm going to check and see how Union County's doing so far. We'll see. Heritage has a chance to get it done. And it looks like their only win, they are 1-8, is against Cumberland Gap. Small 1A school. I think they're 2A, but pretty small school out in the northeast area. Not necessarily Tri-Cities. I still see it as a Knoxville type area. But, small school that Union County beat. Other than that, they have yet to win an actual game in 4A to 6A. They have yet to do that. And I don't think they're going to do it against Heritage. I think Heritage will get it done. But you'll never know. It's high school football. Union County could win. But we'll see what we're going to see from Heritage. Yeah, this turned out to be 17 minutes long by the time I'm recording this. But yeah, this is the All Sports Pass Podcast West. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the North channel too. It will really help us out. You sign out. I don't know if I'll be able to make the Tennessee post-game review to beat Kentucky, but we'll see how I can do there. You've signed out.